Like when I was at Apple, like the software guys would come out in at noon and stay to live.
Wow.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We never saw them, so that's sure what.
Oh, this is my app. These are
Hi all.
Good
Hello.
evening.
I hope he got the memo on.
Hello. We're trying to wait a couple minutes for the other commissioner to attend as well.
Okay, all right, we'll wait, no problem.
Just a couple minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening.
Good evening.
Well, you have not waited too long.
No.
36, right?
We're good.
All right, and then we got to get Larissa's PowerPoint up so she can give her the keyboard. Do you have that on a flash drive or?
I do have it on the flash drive, but that's easier.
It might be faster than having to log into Sharp.
Oh, in my case, it means waiting for walk time, but yeah.
Yeah, it might be easier just to plug it in over there.
Like, no, I don't have to bike, I have time. I was not correct.
Let's space out.
Okay.
I don't-
So yeah, actually, you could just expand out the Zoom
Okay.
and share screen.
Should I start right now?
Yeah, we're live. So share screen.
Is it?
Press the green button.
Sure.
Oh,
Green one,
okay.
yeah. And then select the PowerPoint.
You're
Sure.
And then I will hit present. Which is
see a little on the bottom.
this one.
No, the one next to it. No,
This
no,
one?
yes.
Good.
Do we need to introduce the meeting at all?
Well, we actually have,
That would generally be me.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't, that's putting it a little strongly.
our, looks like we're live. Unmuted.
Pardon me, I have my script.
Yeah, they read it verbatim if you don't want. We didn't do scripts before COVID.
No, makes it more formal. All right, everyone's here. Looks like we can get started. I call to order the Site and Architectural Review Committee, or SARC, meeting of September 27th, 2022. For the benefit of those joining us tonight, the SARC is a subcommittee of the Planning Commission that provides feedback on the architectural design and site layout of proposed development projects before they are presented at the Planning Commission. By way of introduction, my name is Adam Bookbinder. As the Vice Chair of the Planning Commission, I lead the SARC meeting. Tonight, we're also joined by my fellow Commissioner, Alan Zisser. In terms of conducting the meeting, for each item, I'll first announce the item and ask for a staff presentation, after which we may have some questions for staff. And after that, we'll look for any input from the applicant representing the project if they're present and receive any additional public comments. Following this, we may have follow-up questions for staff, the applicant, or public speakers. And we will finish by providing our feedback on the project that will then be forwarded to the Planning Commission. In terms of timing, as SARC meetings are scheduled immediately preceding the Planning Commission meeting, we would normally have a hard stop at 7:20, but there's no Planning Commission tonight. That said, I see that we have just the one item here on the agenda. Are there, staff, are there any desk items or changes before we get started?
No.
Okay, our first scheduled item is, go ahead, it's pulled up. PLN 2022-67 1614 West Hacienda Avenue.
Thank you. So the item I brought to you tonight is the construction of a new 4,510 square foot dwelling that will be using portions of an original structure. As you can see, the proposed project is located on a conforming single-family residential lot zoned R19 within the San Tomas area neighborhood plan, and it is surrounded predominantly by other residential uses. As noted from the plans, the proposed dwelling maintains a similar site layout to the original structure with general placement to the front of the lot. And this is consistent with other neighboring homes. The proposed dwelling also meets all applicable site development standards, both within the Campbell Municipal Code and also within the San Tomas Area Neighborhood Plan. In addition to development standards, the San Tomas Area Neighborhood Plan also governs the design of residential projects located within its boundary. Specifically, it calls for more architectural traditional features such as simple building forms, which you can see are represented here in this project. The proposed hipped and gable roof lines are comprised of composition shingles, and it maintains a modest 4/12 slope. The slate blue horizontal siding and stone wainscoting is also consistent with surrounding homes. Although most of the surrounding homes are single story, this proposed second story home has a perceived scale that is consistent with a single story home. As you can see from this plan, this is achieved by the architect stepping back the second story from the front and side of property lines. There also, you can note the use of the dormers to reduce the second story massing. And also you will see that the second story is limited in size as compared with the first story. And we can move this if this is blocking. Oops. As you can see, the majority of the second floor windows are clerestory. The project is proposing at least 2 full-length windows. One is located on the west right facade in the family room, and the other is located on the rear facade within the master bedroom. Staff did receive 1 public comment from the rear neighbor indicating a privacy concern related to this rear window. You can see, however, that the rear property is located well over 65 feet from the proposed window, and the applicant has provided a privacy plan which demonstrates adequate screening through the use of vegetation and a 6-foot fence. These factors should mitigate for any privacy concerns. And that concludes my presentation. I can now take questions at this time.
Page 2 of the packet says 3,963 square feet, and the blurb at the top says 4,510 square feet.
That so the 300 it was 3,963. Is that what you said?
I think so, yeah.
So that actually is just the square footage, and that is not including the porches. So that is the total building footprint. So those are
Okay.
in addition of 2 rear porches, which you will see total 547 square feet, which gives you that grand total of 4,510.
Okay. That was the only question I had. This seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I had to look real hard to try and find something to talk about. The shrubbery in the back, there's a lot of word shows the shrubbery on the design. Is that all is all those fruit trees and everything are existing shrubbery?
They are
So
existing.
that's not like new shrubbery.
Exactly.
Just the backyard is pretty much, they're leaving it as it is.
Correct.
If I'm correct.
The only new proposed landscaping would be within the front. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have an existing number of fruit trees and existing shrubs within the rear yard,
Okay.
and a very generous sized rear yard, which is consistent with lots of that size.
Yeah, right. This is a country lot kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's got 150 feet deep. It's,
Nearly a quarter acre.
yeah, so
Yeah, but it's
I
a
know that's very common down in San Tomas, which, you know, is an annexed from the county, and there was a lot of these kind of lots. So yeah, I don't have any other questions.
okay.
Would the applicant like to speak? Is the applicant here?
Yes, Fahed, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Morty or Fahed, would you either of you like to speak? It doesn't have to be very long.
Yeah, I mean, basically, hi all, all good. Of course, I mean, before we start project, I mean, we looked around the neighborhood, and we tried to be compatible with most of the homes in the neighborhood, you know, and there was a couple of them like Spanish, and consulting with the owner, they'd like the art and crafts style, which is there's a lot of homes in the neighborhood. So mainly we tried to stay within the neighborhood's scale and design wise, and not to be like more kind of monster home with too many colors, too many features, you know. So we try to stick with one color, mainly the main body house, and with the white trim. Probably that's it, you know.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer, or you know, yeah.
Thank you.
From what I see here, the architecture, especially on the description of the front elevation view, looks to be similar to houses nearby, if a little bit more architectural interest, which is certainly not a bad thing. It maintains the garage forward aesthetic, which is apparently the way we do things in this area. The materials look very reasonable. The color is sort of a somewhat muted but not plain beige color, which matches the area. The landscaping still, you know, very large backyard and all looks fine to me. And the privacy plan, like I cannot get exercised over there is a building 90 feet.
Yeah, I mean, you know, actually, I mean, of course,
102 feet away.
it's, I mean, the privacy for the neighbor is always an issue, you know, and most of non-egress window are said to be at 5 feet or 6 feet above the finished floor. But the only window is the master bedroom, which is egress, need to be really like a certain height to be an egress window. Yeah, and of course we need a lot of light coming to the bedroom. And of course the fact that there was existing a lot of trees in the back, which is created a lot of privacy for the second floor. And one thing I want to mention that I avoided having a balcony in the back in the backyard, second floor. Was extremely against it. Shouldn't be any, you know, balconies, because balconies always create a problem for the neighborhood, either the side or the back neighbors, you know. So there was a lot of thinking, a lot of decision we made to make the neighbors happy with, you know, privacy, you know.
I can definitely see that. I suppose it's one of those things that we will eventually have some kind of objective standard for, so that, you know, we can say it's 102 feet away. It's not a privacy problem. And also I would assume that egress windows are a safety issue and therefore considerably more important. Yeah, those are all the notes I have. Do you have anything?
You know, I generally like the design. I mean, I like the fact that you're using a little bit different color, the darker color with the light trim. It's like a little bit different. You know, even though the two single-story places are on both sides, I noticed on the street there's actually a number of two-story homes that have been built along that street, not very far down or up the street and across the street. So it seems to fit in fine with the neighborhood. You know, I was actually surprised to see that the back neighbor complained, considering the depth of the lot, and the fact that there are trees there for screening. So I came to the same conclusion that it's not an issue at all. And you know, the master bedroom is, I guess that's the master bedroom in the back. That is like they should have big windows, right? In a master bedroom. So I mean, the only thing that, you know, the only thing that struck me at all, just from a personal aesthetic thing, is that, and it's obviously not a requirement, is that, and apparently you know, the existing structure has been there and the neighbors have been there on the sides for some time, and everybody is, I guess, happy. But you know, the where the building is in the sides, there's no, you know, vegetation, and it's like, you know, you got some windows out looking out the side of I think both east and west, and it's like, you know, if it was me, I'd want to put up a trellis or something to, you know, put something to look at other than fences. So, but that's just my personal recommendation.
Yeah, we are open to any suggestions, I mean.
No, I'm not saying that even it would be a requirement. I'm just saying that from a personal point of view is that, having something on the sides that would be appealing to themselves in terms of looking out their windows, would be, other than seeing just a blank fence. I know it's real tight on the west side. It's a little wider on the east side. And on the east side, the other house has vegetation, so they're screened anyway. So it's just a personal comment in terms of what it's obviously the people that are living there. It's like up to them what they as long as we're in accordance with the acceptable setbacks. And there's nobody complaining from the side neighbors. I don't have a problem with it. I like the front landscaping. There's not any real landscaping at the moment. So, going to I guess I don't know if it's native, but it's a low water landscaping with no grass on the front is a good thing. So I like that. That's a good thing. And nothing else. It just reminds me, I lived in the San Tomas neighborhood early on when I first came to this area, and I don't know if those fruit trees, a lot of fruit trees in the backyard, and I don't know if those are originals, but that that whole neighborhood used to be a lot of orchard, and so a lot of those large deep lots still have a lot of fruit trees in them. So it's nice to see that you got lots of fruit trees. But I think that the design is really nice, and I think it's fine for the neighborhood. And just an editorial comment. I found it interesting that you drive down the street and one side of the street has no sidewalks and the other side of the street has sidewalks because there's been, I guess, some development where they put in sidewalks. So it's one of those, parts of Campbell where, there's some no sidewalk areas, and then on the opposite side, it's all sidewalks. So it's kind of funny that way. But I like it. I wish you guys luck, and look forward to seeing it built.
Okay, I guess we're all done then.
Good. Thank you very much, More Team 5, for joining us.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.